1 week ago, the world of golf was standing still at Augusta National Golf Club. The roars were echoing through the Georgia pines, a sound so powerful it felt like it could shake the leaderboard itself. Every shot mattered, every step carried history. It was the kind of energy that defines a sport, the kind that reminds you why the Masters is not just a tournament, but a stage where legends are built in real time. And when it ended, the expectation was simple: carry that fire forward. Because the next stop on the calendar wasn't just another event, it was supposed to be the continuation of something bigger, but that's not what happened. Now shift the scene to Harbour Town Golf Links, the same tour, the same players, but the atmosphere feels different, quieter, not empty, but missing something you can't ignore. The RBC heritage was supposed to ride the wave of Augusta, to turn momentum into momentum. Instead, it feels like the air has been pulled out of the room before the first tee shot has even been struck. Because when the field was announced, something didn't add up. The names you expected to see weren't there. And suddenly, the silence started to say more than the noise ever could. 6 of the biggest names in golf are gone. And the PGA Tour has a problem. Not 1. Not 2, 6. Players who define ratings, headlines, and the very identity of modern golf have either withdrawn or chosen not to show up. Rory McIlroy, fresh off the emotional high of Augusta, is nowhere to be found. Justin Rose, still chasing answers after another near miss, has stepped away. Others have quietly followed. And just like that, a tournament designed to showcase the best in the world is forced to ask a dangerous question. Who's missing matters more than who's playing. This isn't just another stop on tour. The RBC Heritage is a signature event, a concept built by the PGA Tour to guarantee elite competition, to ensure that when fans tune in, they're watching the absolute best go head-to-head. Bigger prize pools, smaller, stronger fields, more pressure, more prestige. That was the promise. But a promise only works if the stars show up to fulfill it. And right now, that promise feels incomplete. Because when the spotlight is this bright, even one absence is noticeable. 6? That's something else entirely. The list doesn't just raise eyebrows, it changes the entire conversation. Rory McIlroy, the face of modern golf and fresh off the emotional storm of Augusta, made the decision to step away. No victory lap, no momentum carryover, just silence. In a sport built on rhythm and timing, skipping the very next event after the Masters sends a message, whether intentional or not. And then there's Justin Rose, who came so close to rewriting his own story at Augusta, only to walk away empty-handed. Days later, he withdraws. Not injured, not forced, just gone. 2 names, 2 storylines, and already the field feels lighter than it should. But it doesn't stop there. Hideki Matsuyama, a Masters champion and global icon, is absent. Adam Scott, one of the most respected veterans in the game, also missing. These aren't fringe players filling out the bottom of the leaderboard. These are anchors. These are the names that bring international attention, the players who make early tee times feel like prime time. Add in other notable absences quietly stacking behind the scenes, and suddenly the number grows. 5, 6, maybe more depending on how you define star. And that's when the realization hits. This isn't a coincidence anymore. This wasn't supposed to be a weak field. This was supposed to be elite. That's the entire point of a signature event under the PGA Tour structure. You create exclusivity to guarantee quality. You shrink the field so every name matters. But what happens when the very players you're building around decide not to show up? The structure doesn't collapse instantly. It cracks, quietly at first, then all at once, because these aren't just golfers. They are global draws. They move ratings. They shape narratives. They are the reason casual fans tune in and hardcore fans stay locked. And when the stars don't show up, the product starts to crack. At first glance, it looks simple. Players withdraw, schedules change, golf moves on. But that surface-level explanation doesn't hold up under pressure. Because what happened at the RBC Heritage isn't random, it's a pattern. The Masters at Augusta National Golf Club is not just another tournament, it's an emotional marathon disguised as a golf event. 4 days of relentless focus. Global media attention, career-defining stakes, and when it ends, it doesn't just leave a leaderboard behind, It leaves exhaustion, the kind you don't recover from in a few days, the kind that lingers longer than anyone wants to admit. This is where the real story begins. Because the withdrawals aren't just physical decisions, they're mental ones. Players walk off Augusta carrying more than scorecards. They carry pressure, disappointment, adrenaline crashes. For some, like Rory McIlroy, the emotional high is so intense that stepping away becomes the only option. For others, like Justin Rose, the emotional low hits just as hard. You don't just reset from that overnight. And yet the calendar demands exactly that. No pause, no buffer, just another high-stakes event waiting 5 days later. That's not recovery. That's survival. And then there's the structure itself. Signature events were designed by the PGA Tour to guarantee elite competition. Smaller fields, bigger purses, higher expectations. But with that comes pressure. Pressure to show up, perform, and deliver every single week. Combine that with a schedule that stacks one massive event on top of another, and suddenly the system starts to feel less like an opportunity and more like a grind. A grind even the best players in the world are starting to push back against. And here's the twist that makes it even more complicated. Brooks Koepka isn't just absent, he's not even in the field. Not by choice, but by structure. Eligibility rules, tour politics, system limitations. So, while some stars are choosing to step away, others don't even get the chance to step in. And that's when the narrative shifts. Because this isn't just about who left, it's about why they're leaving. This is where the pressure stops being subtle and starts becoming visible. Signature events were built by the PGA Tour as the answer to modern golf's biggest problem: fragmentation. The idea was simple: bring the best players together more often on bigger stages for bigger stakes. Guarantee star power, guarantee consistency, guarantee elite competition every single time the spotlight turns on. It wasn't just a format change, it was a promise to fans. A promise that when you tune in, you're watching the best in the world, not a diluted version of it. And for a moment, it looked like that promise might actually hold. But now that promise is being tested in real time, because the structure only works if the stars commit to it. And right now, they're not. Some are stepping away. Others aren't eligible to step in. The field is shrinking, but not in the way it was designed to. It's not exclusivity anymore. It's absence. And when fans start scanning a leaderboard and noticing who isn't there before they see who is, something has shifted. Something fundamental. Because this isn't just about one tournament feeling lighter, it's about the entire system starting to feel unstable. If your biggest names don't show up, what exactly are you selling? That's the question hanging over this moment. Not from critics, not from media, from the structure itself. Because signature events were supposed to eliminate uncertainty, not create it. And yet here we are watching a tournament designed to showcase the best, struggling to hold on to its biggest attractions. That's not a scheduling issue anymore. That's a perception problem. And in the background, quietly but unmistakably, another layer of pressure exists. Alternative leagues, different formats, different freedoms. They don't need to be named to be felt. Because every time a star chooses rest or is blocked by structure, the comparison grows louder without a single word being spoken. This isn't just one event falling short, it's a warning sign. And yet, the tournament still begins. The fairways at Harbour Town golf links are still pristine. The flags still move in the coastal wind. The first tee shots are still struck with the same precision and intention that defines this game at the highest level. Because golf doesn't stop. It never does. The RBC heritage moves forward, just as it always has, with players ready to compete, names ready to rise, and opportunities waiting for those willing to take them. For some, this isn't a weakened field, it's an open door. And that's where the story becomes complicated. Because while some stars are missing, others now have space to step into the spotlight. Players who would normally sit just outside the headlines suddenly find themselves in the center of the frame. Careers can change here. Legacies can begin here. That's the beauty of golf. It always creates opportunity when something shifts. But opportunity alone doesn't replace presence. It doesn't replicate the gravity of the biggest names in the game. And as the rounds unfold, that contrast lingers quietly in the background, never fully disappearing. So the question doesn't go away. It gets louder. Can the PGA Tour rely on its stars or not? Because this isn't just about 1 week after Augusta, it's about what comes next. The upcoming events will test everything: player commitment, scheduling balance, and the ability of the tour to deliver what it promised. Not once, not occasionally, but consistently. And in a sport built on rhythm, consistency is everything. Because if this pattern continues, it won't just be noticed, it will be expected. And once that happens, the narrative shifts in a way that's hard to reverse. Because in golf, silence isn't just quiet. Sometimes it's the sound of something starting to break.